National security conditions newly added to restaurant licenses. Hong Kong pianist Aristo Sham wins the 2025 Van Cliburn International Piano Competition. And Trump sends National Guard to Los Angeles after protests against immigration raids. Hello and welcome to TVB News. I'm Melissa Hekalea. The Food and Environmental Hygiene Department has newly introduced national security conditions to restaurant licenses and other licenses. The licenses may be revoked if holders and related persons engage in offending conduct that's considered detrimental to national security and Hong Kong's public interest. Samantha Lee reports.
Many licensed eateries received letters from the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department at the end of last month. The letter stated that national security conditions were added to the terms of the license and permits upon new issuance or renewal. New conditions stipulate that license and permit holders, as well as their related persons, must refrain from engaging in any offending conduct. The director of the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department can revoke that license if their acts are deemed to be detrimental to national security and Hong Kong's public interest. According to the authorities, offending conduct refers to criminal acts that may potentially pose harm to national security. Related persons refer to board members, managers, employees, agents, and contractors. Such newly added requirements also apply to licenses for entertainment places and food factories. Senior counsel Ronnie Tong believes the court will not easily incriminate someone by his words. He said whether a statement is considered as offensive should be evaluated based on a series of factors, such as the context, underlying meaning, and who made the statement. For example, he said, if someone used foul language against the country's leader, this could be deemed offensive against national dignity. Simon Wong, president of the Hong Kong Federation of Restaurants and Related Trades, believes everyone should obey the law and owners of eateries can seek legal advice if they are not sure about the regulations. Once the license is revoked, holders can file an appeal within 14 days. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
Hong Kong pianist Aristo Sham Ching Tao won the 2025 Van Cliburn International Piano Competition. He was congratulated by Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism, Rosanna Law. "29-year-old Sham is the first Hong Kong pianist to win the prestigious competition, which is held once every 4 years in Texas, USA. Sham received a cash award of $100,000 after beating 29 other competitors. The prodigy began learning piano when he was 3 years old and started composing at 6. He graduated from Harvard University with a bachelor's degree in economics and earned a master's degree at the New England Conservatory of Music. The U.S. State Department has reportedly instructed consulates to resume processing Harvard University-related visas. According to the Washington Post, the State Department on Friday told consular offices around the world to resume processing visas for Harvard University international students and exchange visitors, rescinding a guidance issued the day before. The directive came after a federal judge temporarily blocked President Donald Trump's proclamation that barred visas for foreign students of the Ivy League school. The order will reinstate their ability to enter the U.S. to attend Harvard until a court hearing scheduled for June 16th. The U.S. National Guard is being deployed in Los Angeles in the coming hours, sent in by Donald Trump to stop violent clashes between protesters and police, sparked by raids and arrests as part of the president's immigration policy. David Garrett reports.
Arguments with officers in the streets of Paramount in southern Los Angeles. Police created a human chain across the street. Rocks have been thrown at border control guards. Fires were lit with debris littering the road. police fired flashbangs in response. This happening outside an industrial park where alleged illegal workers were taken away. More than 40 detained in various locations across the city over a couple of days. Donald Trump has vowed mass deportations of undocumented workers. The president now says he's sending the National Guard to LA. The defense secretary threatened to deploy the military. US immigration authorities active again, with hundreds attending another protest at a federal detention facility in Paramount, which is a predominantly Latino district.
We see you for what you are, a terrorist organization. Eyes out of Paramount. You are not welcome here.
Police again with strong-arm tactics as they force people away from the gate. People tried to shield themselves from tear gas. The Democratic California governor posting on X that Trump's arrests are inflammatory. Gavin Newsom adding that federal authorities were not acting the way a civilized country behaves. As demonstrators recovered from tear gas, some visibly shaken. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement's acting director and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass also at odds on social media on how these demonstrators should be dealt with. Bass saying the government is sowing terror. ICE's director Todd Lyons writing that Bass is choosing the side of chaos and lawlessness. As the crowd did disperse, US and Mexican flags were seen being waved. In another part of town, a fire at a road junction causing further disruption. A car is set ablaze as protesters vent further frustrations. Fire trucks and police officers arrive to clear the roadblock. There were also scuffles in New York, but the focus is on the country's second largest city, with 2,000 National Guard troops set to hit LA's already tense streets. Trump's deployment could ease or escalate those tensions. David Garrett, TVB News.
Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng will visit the United Kingdom between June 8th and 13th for the second round of China-U.S. trade talks. He led the Chinese delegation in the first round of the talks in May. During the visit, a meeting on the China-U.S. Economic and Trade Consultation Mechanism will be held with the United States. Three of U.S. President Donald Trump's top aides, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, are set to represent the United States and meet their Chinese counterparts in London on Monday. Meanwhile, the Commerce Ministry in Beijing sent positive signals on facilitating rare earth talks. A spokesperson said, in light of growing industrial demand, China has approved a number of export license applications for rare earth-related items and will continue to strengthen the approval process for such applications. He stressed that China's export curbs on these items align with international norms to better safeguard national security and interests. The ministry said in a statement that China is ready to enhance communication and dialogue with relevant countries on export control policies to facilitate convenient and compliant trade. U.S. President Donald Trump is reportedly planning to extend the pause on enforcing the TikTok ban deadline for a third time. Trump had previously twice extended the pause to give the popular short video app and potential U.S. buyers, as well as the Chinese government, more time to reach a deal. But little progress has been made. The current pause on enforcement is due to end on June 19th. The odds of a deal being reached between the U.S. and China is low, with issues such as tariffs not helping negotiations. Still ahead, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance says Elon Musk made a huge mistake going after Trump. More pictures about a traffic accident during which a policeman leapt off an elevated road. And a Cantonese opera contest to attract new talent. Welcome back. U.S. President Donald Trump said his relationship with his billionaire donor, Elon Musk, is over. The president warned there would be serious consequences if Musk funds U.S. Democrats running against Republicans who vote for the president's sweeping tax and spending bill. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance said Musk is making a huge mistake going after Trump, adding he hopes Musk will eventually come back into the fold. Tracy Furness has more.
Just last week, US President Donald Trump was thanking Musk for the months he'd spent trying to remake Washington in his role leading the new Department of Government Efficiency, saying, "He's my friend, he's done a fantastic job." But a week is a long time in politics. Their relationship has now imploded.
Musk's political project, such as it was, has been having less and less traction within the Trump sphere. So if you think about those very early days where so many headlines were made by the activities of Doge, and it was made by the various things that were being shut down and the various, often illegal actions or seemingly illegal actions that Doge was taking, we haven't heard much of that in the past few weeks. So what you've maybe been seeing is different actors, different ideas asserting themselves and pushing Musk slightly to one side.
Musk and Trump have been exchanging insults, Musk denouncing Trump's tax and spending bill, calling it a disgusting abomination. Musk's opposition complicated efforts to pass the legislation in Congress, where Republicans hold only slim majorities in the House of Representatives and Senate. Adding to that, Musk has also declared that it is time for a new political party in the United States to represent the 80% of people in the middle. This as Vice President J.D. Vance spoke with podcaster Theo Van this weekend, saying it would be a mistake for Musk to go after the president.
And I think it's a huge mistake for him to go after the president like that. And I think that if he and the president are in some blood feud, most importantly, it's going to be bad for the country. But I don't think it's going to be good for Elon either. Elon, he's an incredible entrepreneur. He's actually done, I think Doge was really good. This sort of effort to root out waste, fraud, and abuse in our country was really good. And look, man, I'm always going to be loyal to the president, and I hope that eventually Elon kind of comes back into the fold. This guy got into politics and has suffered a lot for it.
Tracy Furness, TVB News.
U.S. military tanks and other equipment have arrived by train in Washington, D.C. for a military parade on June 14th to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. Army tanks, fighting vehicles, howitzers, and other military equipment arrived on Saturday. The parade will feature hundreds of military vehicles and aircraft and thousands of soldiers. The equipment came from Fort Cavazos in Texas. The event has grown extensively in scope and size since Army planners started working on the festival 2 years ago, now adding a military parade, which President Donald Trump had unsuccessfully tried to do during his first term. The Army's anniversary celebration is set for June 14th, which also happens to be Trump's birthday. Back locally, the police said the officer who leapt off the elevated road leading to Shenzhen Bay Bridge on Friday remains in critical condition in hospital. Online footage showed the breathtaking moment when the officer was forced to leap off the highway to avoid being hit by an oncoming city bus double-decker. He's now hospitalized in Tuen Mun Hospital. Commissioner of Police Joe Chow said the injured officer is still in the intensive care unit, but the good news is he's regained consciousness. The Hong Kong government is reviewing a decades-old prohibition on dogs in food premises, possibly easing the law. Legal experts are proposing phased trials as the city weighs public health concerns against a growing demand for pet-friendly spaces. Celine Chan tells us more.
Under the current legal framework, all dogs are bought from food premises. The only exceptions are guide dogs and dogs in connection with the exercise of a lawful power. This pet-friendly restaurant was forced to suspend operations for 7 days earlier this year after violating the rule. Following its reopening, the restaurant implemented a no-dog policy and would only offer priority window seating to pet owners. Despite recognizing some patrons' concerns over allergies and the problem of xenophobia, Mr. On, the restaurant's owner, finds the inconsistency in pet policies unfair as only dogs are prohibited from entering. Authorities are currently looking into relaxing the decades-old ban on dogs in dining establishments.
It's so inconvenient for us to. We always want to take the lunch or dinner with our pets, but I think there's only a little choice. When I travel with mainland China, there's maybe they are more free to allow the pets to maybe the shopping mall and restaurant. Even though I think a bit far away, Hong Kong is much retreated.
Some people have allergies, so I feel like it's best if you don't bring your dogs. Sometimes I feel bad for the dogs just staying at home all day.
Barrister Albert Look explained the current prohibition on dogs in dining establishments stems from 1950s public health concerns over the outbreak of rabies. With the advancement of rabies vaccines and the atmosphere of a responsible pet culture, he believes there is room to modernize the policies. He proposed implementing a pilot scheme that would allow licensed restaurants to open outdoor areas to pet dogs with the aim of gradually modernizing regulations based on accumulated experience before considering broader expansion. The Environment and Ecology Bureau earlier stated that the government needs to take into consideration different factors, including public health, when examining the legislation. The Bureau, together with the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department, is conducting research on practices and experiences in other places and will carefully consider whether there is room for relaxing the current restrictions. Celine Chan, TVB News.
Cantonese opera, recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage, is struggling to attract new talent. An organization has hosted a contest for young performers to showcase their dedication and hard work in the traditional art form. Sakura Ip tells us more.
In The Legend of the White Snake, Bai Suzheng, or Madam White Snake, fights monk Fa Hai to save her husband Xu Xian, even though he once distrusted her. When the couple encounter each other again after the battle, she struggles with the decision of whether to take him back. Navigating these complex emotions, the actress playing Bai Suzheng is only 15 years old, and she began her journey at just 8.
I think the most unforgettable chance is like I can devote myself into different character of each place.
The handsome Xu Xian is actually portrayed by a girl, but guys have the burden.
When I'm filming a program, I threw up 3 times on the stage because of the horrifying decoration. My helmet is really tight, that it pressed my head very tightly. It's like I can't breathe and the blood cannot flow through my brain.
15 young Cantonese opera singers took part in this contest. Susan Te, a prominent figure in Cantonese opera and a member of the contest's organizing panel, hopes to launch a cosplay Cantonese opera animation to showcase this centuries-old heritage to a global audience. This year also marks the 50th anniversary of the contest. Organizers are hoping that the government will allocate more resources to create additional venue for young performers. Sakura, TVB News.
It was day 2 of the Hong Kong International Dragon Boat Races held at Tsim Sha Tsui Promenade today. One of the highlights was the fancy dress competition. Can you name the characters the athletes are dressed as? I'm not sure, actually, not all of them. The atmosphere of the International Dragon Boat Races was pushed up to another level. Athletes maintained their motivation to compete in the races despite the heat. This group of monkey kings from the Chinese novel Journey to the West won the cosplay competition. The 2-day dragon boat event gathered more than 4,500 athletes from 12 countries and regions. That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.